What's up, everyone? You are tuned in to the Pennsylvania Rock Show, episode number 783. At the top of the show, we heard a brand new track to the show from a band called Wicked. The track is Reptile Roots. They will be opening for Ace Frehley this Friday night at Jurgles, and I hope to be there. If you see me, say hello. That goes for you too, Donnie Iris, because I won't do it. Also, we heard a brand new track from 3 Leagues to Rome. I got it today. It is called Blood in the Water, which probably plays along perfectly with the guests we're going to have tonight. And he's laughing off the screen. So with me tonight is Xander. Xander, it's a long E, right? Xander Demos?
Demas. The
Yes,
O is an I
Demas.
and the E is the E.
Okay. So Xander is in the Xander Demos band. It's XDB.
Yep. We no longer refer to it as the Xander Demas band anymore. That's the old one. Yeah, it's just XDB. Everything's acronym nowadays.
So you were on fairly early in the you were definitely, you played one of the PA Rock Show anniversaries. So that puts you,
Yep.
I haven't done one of those in like at least 12 years.
Yeah. It's been a while.
But so you have a new track that we're going to listen to in a little bit. We'll talk about that. I believe
Okay.
you have a new album hopefully
Yep.
coming out soon.
Yep. We're about to drop two more tracks. One within less than 7 days will be released.
And we're gonna go back a few years and play another track. But like I said, we'll talk about that stuff later.
Okay.
So my reference, the Blood in the Water, if I remember correctly, you are a huge shark fan.
Yeah.
And
Conservationist. Yeah.
The logo behind me, that's a great white, correct?
That is. Yeah.
So you want to you've told that story, but it's been a few years. You want to tell me about your fascination with the sharks?
It started when I was a kid. Before Jaws. Honestly, before, I was born in 1969. Jaws came out in 1975. I was 6 and of course terrified when I saw it in the theater. But fascinated at the same time, and it just stuck with me. It was just one of those things where, it followed me, so to speak. And then I even went to school for it early on in my life. And then I didn't do anything with it. At the time, I think the bands I had down in Florida where I grew up, we were doing really well. The scene was pretty cool. There was like a lot of, energy in it. Whether it was like a real metal scene or more of the poppier metal and things like that, or whatever, but it was very vibrant. And, I hate to say it, but when grunge hit in like 92, it did kill a lot of things, and some of the music I had been working on at the time, really was just like, it just died off. I hate to say it like that way. So that was right around the time I had gone to school for marine biology. And it all was like a perfect confluence of events. And, as my parents were like, we don't want to live here anymore. And, I knew they were from, the Pittsburgh area. I said, you know what, I'll come up and try it for a year. Why not? And that was it. Late 1991, I was here and haven't left since.
So I'm going to pause on that for a second.
Yeah.
Both guitarists from Black Ridge are hanging out with us tonight, both Joey and Paul.
I love Joey. He's my boy.
So Joey says you're probably the gnarliest player in Pittsburgh. And
next to him. Maybe next to him.
Paul sent you 3 guitars.
Those guys are great. Joey's a great
guy. I'm going to tell them something right now that it's going to get me in trouble with them. So Paul, the last time I saw them live, gave me a whole bunch of stickers for my kids. And I gave them to him last night. Like probably 2 months ago.
Nice.
And they were sitting on my desk and I was like, oh, I probably should give those to them.
Yeah, they're an awesome band. They got a ton of energy, man. They're great. Awesome band. I actually had an opportunity to run sound for them recently, and then I realized that I was already booked on that one night. I would have really liked to do that, just to mix them and see how that all went. Maybe another time, another show.
So you mentioned Joey's playing, but you've been playing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember the first time that I saw you play, and it's just, I don't like. It's not. I'm gonna use the word shred, and that's probably not the correct term, but
It's an overused term.
yeah. But you play so fast, but it's beautiful at the same time. Like, there are people who play fast, and you're like, okay, whatever, but not the case with you.
Well, I appreciate that. It's part of this. Ideally, it's just part of a style. Speed can be. I mean, it can be used if you use it wisely. I shouldn't say it can be, but if you use it wisely, it just becomes part of your expression. I still believe that you can say just as much with a bunch of notes as some people would argue, saying, well, you can say more with just 3 notes. That is true. You can say a lot, but you can't dispel somebody else for, maybe, putting some, I don't want to say pyrotechnics into it, more, just more like aggression into it, or, if you want to call it that, but, just let's just call it technique to flatten it. You know what I mean? Just to say, okay, it's just, you're doing something technical here, but I mean, does it fit the song? And if you're just doing it to, show off in a music store, okay, that's one thing, that's cool. But if you are doing things in a song, I think you really want to, be able to say something with it. And if it requires speed, then do it. If it doesn't, then don't. It's, it's very simple. You challenge yourself, but at the same time, don't feel bad if you don't play every lick that in a song, so
That comment you just made about playing fast at the music store. My son and I were at Guitar Center on Thursday, and then at In Stuff Music, which was the correct move, on Friday.
Yeah.
But he was looking to buy a 5 or 6 string bass.
Nice.
And the person at Guitar Center plugged the bass in and sat down and played this amazing thing. And he's like, okay, here, you can play it. And I was like, he doesn't want to play it anymore. And he didn't. He looked at me like, how am I supposed to follow that? He waited until he left.
and Guitar Center, I mean, that's saying something, because I mean, I'm not trying to, knock those guys, but I mean, last few times I've been there, I've seen salespeople there, but not musicians. I hate to say it that way, maybe they were musicians or so, but there was just like 1 or 2 people that were just like, oh, well, I really don't play. I came from the corporate office. I'm like, oh, all right, that's cool. I mean, it's fine. But yeah, you get somebody that, plugs in and blows your doors off. Awesome. I love it.
So then we went to In Stuff Music, and
yeah,
Jason, one of the owners, hung out with us for about 40 minutes.
Yeah, and Jason's a buddy. He's a great guy.
And then Steve Jackson, formerly of the Stevie J band.
Yeah.
He hung out with us the rest of the time. We were there for like an hour and a half, and someone was there helping us the whole time. It was an amazing, amazing situation.
Yeah, and Stuff's a great store.
We walked out with the 5 string.
What did you get? What kind of 5 string?
He got a Yamaha.
Nice.
If you give me a second, I can even tell you the model. Where did I put that? Maybe I can. It's a TRBX 305.
Okay. Yamaha they make a great instrument. I have a couple different Yamaha instruments, and one of them is a nylon string acoustic that is freaking amazing. I mean, not even a whole lot of money, and the wood, the neck has never moved, and the action is nice and low, and I still mess around with it. And I don't play nylon string very often, but when I do, it's just like, oh, cool, this thing plays really good. And then they make some phenomenal stuff. I mean, I had a Billy Sheehan Attitude bass, like one of the American made ones, or not American made, the Japanese made, not the Indonesian made. And that thing was incredible, but I just wasn't playing it enough, and I hated to hang on to it because some I hate to say some fool, I paid I think around 29 for it, and this guy said he's like I can't find that color anywhere. I'll give you, what do you want? And I said, well, I mean, I'll sell to you what I paid for it, and he offered me 200 over. It was like $3,300. And that was including shipping to I think Texas or something like that. It cost me like $90 insured. I'm like, wow, I made out on this one. And then sure enough, I go back. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I missed that bass. I'm gonna go buy. I'm gonna see if I can buy another one. And yeah, they shot up in price about $500. I'm like, yep, I've missed my window there.
So
but yeah, they make good stuff. Good score.
He started playing bass in March. When I say started playing, he got a bass in March from Rocky, who owns Music from 412, who heard it that he was thinking about playing. And he's like, I have one, come get it.
No, nice.
So but he was in the musical, and then he hurt his wrist, so he didn't play for a lot. And he's just recently started playing, and he's self-teaching, but he's up to like 7 or so bass lines that he's got down pat.
That's great.
Which is right. And, well, he plays like 8 instruments on top of the bass. So
okay,
he already had the music, being able to read the music and some music theory, and so it's just figuring out the strings a little bit.
Yeah.
And he had a Sterling Music Man Ray 4, I think is the other one.
Yeah, Music Man. Oh man, they make a great instrument. Yeah, I love their instruments.
But he wanted the 5th string. He said he couldn't get low enough with the 4.
Yeah, I agree. Or you could do like what what's his name did in Journey. Strung up a 4-string bass like a 5-string. Like you start like the low string was a B, and he just went up, and because that's just how he played. I think he did that years ago. Someone told me that, at least. I don't know. I don't remember if that's true or not. But
so
yeah, I have a 4 hanging in my studio office, and my 5 is I have 2 5s downstairs. One of them is an Ibanez, and it's a fretless that I had. And I had luthier Mike Caldwell put the lines on there with like glow in the dark lines because I suck at fretless if I can't see what I'm
doing. So he played an Ibanez, he played a Squire. I can't remember what the other ones were. Oh, he played a stage played Mike Dirnt from Green Day.
Okay.
I was like, you have to play this. I said, you're not buying it. You have to play it though.
That's like a 1 pickup bass, I think, isn't it? It's like very like simple.
I don't remember. Like I was just, I knew we weren't buying it, so I didn't look that closely at it.
Yeah.
But we do need to take our first break. We're going to hear the brand new track from XDB, When the Love Is Gone. And then we're also going to hear Dancing Through Daggers.
Oh, wow. We're going to the Wayback Machine.
And we'll be right back.
Cool.
Hey, it's that time of the show where I spin the wheel and Drusky Entertainment gives 2 tickets to the person it stops on. This week, the tickets are for Sister Hazel with the Sages at Jurgles on August 27th. It is a 21 and over show. Tickets are $30 in advance, $32 day of the show, $44 if you went to early entry at 5 p.m. We had 5 people sign up: Keith Laydig, Tom Trainer, Michelle Gapsky, Andrew Carr, and Justin Todd. You can see them spinning up above my head. I'm going to add each of them. We'll go 3 times. So they're on there 4 times total. I'm going to hit shuffle once and twice. You know what? I'm going to do it 3 times. We're going to change it up for once. And I'm going to spin, and we're going to find out who is winning those tickets to see Sister Hazel with the Sages on August 27th at Jurgles. And that winner is Justin Todd. Justin, keep an eye on your email. You will receive an email from me, and then you'll get a follow-up email from Drusky Entertainment with information on how to receive those tickets from them. With that said, we're going to head back to my interview with XDB, Xander Damos, of the Xander Damos Band. And we're back. We're headed into segment number 2 with Xander Demus. There. Demus. Who is now laughing off the air again at me.
Nah. Laughing with you, not at you.
It frustrates me when I mess people's last names up because mine gets messed up all the time, and I understand it.
Yeah, right, but you told me that a long time ago, so I never forgot it.
No, you told me too, but I did forget. Okay, so tell us that, and you are going to know what I'm talking about. Not everybody I say this to. This is your MTV storytellers moment. Tell us about the song "When the Love Is Gone."
Oh, I wish I could. You know what? I honestly, I wish I could be the one that told you more. Most of that was pretty much penned by our singer Rob Kane, and at the time, I could tell you what he told me. He was unfortunately he was unavailable for this tonight to join us rather, and he said he was channeling some TNT, when he was writing some stuff, and like I put my own little touch, especially like where the solos were concerned, and some of the just some melodies that that were kind of existent in the demo version of it already, and then we refined it, and I think we actually came up with a pretty cool tune. But he did that was pretty much something he had on the back burner, and then when he brought it to the front burner, we spiced it up, so to speak. I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but that's how the song came about. And it's ironic. It's funny. I got to tell you quick. You want an MTV moment? This is great. Rob is a phenomenal writer. First of all, just right out of the gate, he writes great. I believe that we're a really good writing team together. One of the funniest things though was his wife had mentioned to him. She goes, "I love the song, but man, you got to stop writing breakup songs. You got to stop writing, sad songs and stuff like that, because some of the reviewers, some of the reviews have been really awesome and talking about melancholy feeling with a soaring melody, and I'm reading all the adjectives they throw at it, right?" And I'm like, I like it, but then he said, "Okay," he's like, "I'm going to take care of this." And the next song we came up with, the one that we're going to be releasing next week, is the exact opposite of When the Love Is Gone, and it's called Love of My Life. So it's like it's not even in the same league. It's a totally different type of song, so it's cool.
So his wife's gonna be a little happier.
Yeah. We've already played it live a couple times, and the response from the audiences have been amazing. We had a couple people ask us, "Is that a cover?" I'm like, "No, that's ours." And they're like, "What?" Okay, where can I get that recording? I said, "Well, it's coming out." So it's the feedback has been very positive.
So I mentioned in the first segment that we were going to talk about the upcoming album. So this is probably a good time since you brought it up. Sure. Do you have a title for it? How many tracks are planned?
Yep. The title is called Gods of Aliens. And then there are going to be 12 tracks on the album. And some of this will be holdovers from the Guitarcadia days that didn't make it to what I was trying to do with my next record. That's why we don't go by the Xander Demus band anymore and like that. It's XDB. That's it. You know what I mean? Because this is a band. This is not a solo act anymore. If somebody says, "Hey, would you come and do a solo show playing the backing tracks?" Yeah, of course I would. But if the band wanted to do it, I would say let's do it. But we are. This is truly like a band, not a solo band. We're just keeping XDB as the thing because that's what we established years ago, and that's it. But the new record is going to be really cool. It's totally different direction. I know you mentioned Dancing Through Daggers. that song was a lot of fun to play, but we have maybe one or two songs that are similar to that. The rest, it's pop. It's like if you took Journey and kind of infused it a little bit with, I definitely would not say Metallica. I would say if you infused it a little bit with maybe just a slight touch of Dream Theater. That's it.
So you've in your history, you've played with some big names, played guitar for some big names. Do you want to do some name dropping for me real quick?
I did a bunch of projects with James Rivera. That was a lot of fun. It's a lot of the one-off festivals that he did. I had an opportunity to play with. I toured with Ripper Owens twice. Would have loved to have recorded with him. I mean, because he's an awesome songwriter. And I CJ Snare had produced or co-produced and mixed and mastered my first album, and he was on his way to doing this one too. Meant a very sad early demise, and that was terrible. There is one song that's going to be on the album that he and I kind of collaborated on about 2 years ago, and it's called "Once Upon the Night." And we were actually going through the like titles for that song, and we came up with that. And he came up with this really cool melody, and then when I gave him a guitar riff, he sent me himself singing over it, and it was like, oh, that's it, that's perfect. So that's that on the back burner, and that's gonna be one of the next ones we record, probably one of the last songs we record. And then I've had the good fortune to open for like a lot of bigger bands and stuff. And when I say bigger, I mean like open up for Winger, we opened for Aldo Nova last year, we opened for Firehouse a bunch, Striper, other bands like that. Back in about 10 years ago, I did those festivals out west, a couple in the south and stuff like that. Maryland, New York, try to get out all over, and we're trying to do the same exact thing now. Our biggest goal really is to actually get us on one of those cruises. We're trying to get on like the Monsters of Rock cruise or Cruise to the Edge or something like that. And I hate saying it this way, but a lot of the bands that we all grew up on, the ones that enjoy this great, resurgence of nostalgia starting in like 2000 and on, they're just, I hate to say the word aging out or the term aging out, but a lot of them are canceling because they're like, hey, we can't do the show. We can't do the travel. We can't do this. And I mean, it's going to take a toll on you, as you get older. And I mean, right now, like I'm the second oldest in our band, but I feel like $1 million. I try to, I hate to say it, eat right, stay in shape, but I mean, it's not that. It's basically just, I feel like I could actually go out and, do that again. I felt when I did that first, Northeast tour with Ripper, I felt like huge. It felt so good to actually get out there and do that, because like the first time we played, it was like maybe 400 people. The next show we played, it was like 900. We were like the headlining band. I'm like, oh my God, this is like the coolest thing ever. I was ready to play a whole nother set, and it's all in the adrenaline, it's all in the energy. And I see the videos of people like they're on tour and they're about ready to fall over and all that stuff. And I get it, but I wasn't there yet.
I recently played a deck hockey game for the first time in 9 years. And
Nice.
I felt that way after for about an hour. And then reality kicked in, and I have not played again. I couldn't walk for like a month.
Different than playing guitar there, playing on stage.
Yeah, I couldn't walk for a month. The nurse at my school was like, "What did you do?" I was like, "I was playing deck hockey." She looked at me and goes, "Well, that's stupid." Like, you're right. Where were you? Where were you yesterday?
Right? Yeah. Get yourself like a good chiropractor. Get everything back in place.
Well, the very first goal that went in on me, I tried to make a kick save, and I heard my knee snap, and I kept playing afterwards.
Yeah. So, okay. So goalie. All right. Yeah. That's a different level. Okay.
But I definitely played more conservative. If I went down, I stayed down until it was in the other end or there was a whistle. Because first of all, I'm not in great shape. I do have a shape. It's a big one.
Me too. Yeah.
But my daughter is laughing over there. Anyway, it's time for us to take our second break. We're gonna hear another brand new song to the show. It is from a band called the Freeloaders. The song is Petty Things. And then we're going to go back a few years and we're going to listen to a song from Rebel Revolver called Novocaine. And we'll be right back with Xander. Hey, I mean, I definitely did. But I walked almost 3 miles. Hey, I am back live. I don't know what they heard me say. So yesterday we went visiting Carnegie Mellon University, and that's why I was talking about 3 miles. In case that's where we came in at. Um, Xander is going to be joining me again here momentarily. We are going into segment number 3. You just heard the Freeloaders, Petty Things, and Rebel Revolver, Novocaine, and that's where we're at. There is it's Gods of Aliens. Is that correct?
That's the name of the album. Yep.
Gods of Aliens. Do you have a release date or kind of range?
Yeah. Our release date was supposed to be July 1st. That didn't happen. So we are going to be, we are, I mean, honestly, we are pretty, I would say we're almost done. I'm actually the bottleneck in this one because I was away for about 10 days and then there was like everyone is doing their parts like remotely, which is the way you do things now. And my actual system wasn't synced up with Rob's, who basically does all of our engineering. And it's all because like I don't actually have like some of the same plugins. Where like our drummer guy Cole, what he does is he'll send the MIDI tracks.
I know his name. He was in Still City Crew, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. For a long time. Yeah. And it's funny because Guy has been like he's been kind of reborn now ever since we started doing like he joined a quote unquote original band. So him and Rob are also in another project called Love and Chains that is sort of like a Frontiers type of band. Mike Floros, the guitar player, is also in a band called Steel City, which I think Steel City is the one that was on Frontiers, I believe. So there's like a lot of those, the foreign bands. That's actually, it was funny. We were talking about the style of music. I would say the style that when I was trying to explain like what we were doing, if you've heard some of the Swedish bands like Heat and Eclipse, that's a lot what we sound like now. So, I mean,
I have not heard them, but
okay.
Now I have a reason to go listen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Eric Gronwell, who joined Skid Row, he came from the band Heat.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of these bands are Swedish bands. I mean, I don't know if you can see like over here is my wall of Ghost stuff over here. And
so
other Swedish bands.
There's something there.
It's the light of the Ghost logo. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's just kind of bright blue, and then everything looks black around it.
Yeah, those are like some of the Papa figures and all that. I really got into that band, like about 10 years ago or so. I mean, I still like them. I'm definitely not crazy about the new album, so just don't hate me for that. I just but I mean, it has been that sound though, like a lot of those bands. So I mean, if you really calculate them up, Crazy Licks, Ghost, Heat, Eclipse. I mean, I'm a very huge ABBA fan. I grew up on ABBA. I grew up on Swedish pop stuff, and even like through my DJing years when I would like DJ dance music and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of the good stuff came from like the Netherlands and Europe and stuff like that. So our sound, we're an American band, but our sound is very much like that. It's like very, very, very much like the Swedish sound.
I haven't not asked you a build the scene type question yet, so
Okay.
we're gonna fit a couple of those in. And see, Xander knows what I mean. He started laughing when I said it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick to the official and unofficial question real quick.
All right.
The official question is, who's your Dave Grohl? And by that I mean, who do you want to go up on stage with and perform one of their originals? Because the Foo Fighters pull people out of the crowd.
Oh yeah. That's right. Man, who'd be my Dave Grohl? I'd say. See, all my bands are older now. Like all the ones I like that I don't know how much they tour. It'd have to be Journey. I want to go up and do the Stone and Love solo with Neil.
Okay. Hey, now this next one's a little more off the wall, but it's what is the best pizza that you've had because you're a musician? So it could be on your way to or from a show, recording session, at a rehearsal. It just has to link to being a musician in some way.
And a musician. Well, I mean, my favorite pizza here is Large Plain in North Hills, where I live. I love that pizza. It's like I lived in Monroeville for like a long time, and I just never really found pizza that I was just crazy about. And we moved here a couple of years ago, and one of our friends mentioned it, and I said, "That's a really stupid name for a place, Large Plain. You know, what am I going to do? Call them up and say, 'Can I have a large plane at Large Plain?'" And I found myself doing that exact thing. And I went and got myself a large plain cheese pizza, and it was amazing. So yeah, that's my favorite.
I asked this same question on last episode with JD Wolf,
Mhm.
and he said Perry the Pizza Man, which is in Lower Borough, and
I've heard of that place. Yeah.
and then we had it last Friday.
How was it?
You know what? We've had it before. It's really good.
Okay. All right.
Their hoagies are good too, which was the plan. We were getting hoagies, but we ended up with the pizza too.
I love me a good hoagie. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, I mean, I'm always up for trying other places. I just, some of the ones that people, the standards around Pittsburgh, I just never didn't like too much. I think one time I just got sick on one of them, and I just was like, I don't want to try it again.
I honestly, because you know where I live. You played it at the Moose, which is this block away from my house.
Yeah.
I live far enough away that I really haven't tried any of those standards because they're like 50 minutes from my house.
Yeah. I think a lot of people like talk about Minios, and I've had Minios before, and that's pretty good, but it's definitely not my favorite. That's all. Just I just thought it was just very average, but some people swear by it, and that's cool.
Hey, let me give you another one. So you get to sit down next to your musical idol, whoever that is, and ask them one question. Who are you sitting next to, and what is the one question you're going to ask?
Okay, is that if the person is deceased, or are we pretending
they're alive?
Be.
Normally, I ask a DeLorean question before that one. So,
DeLorean question. Sean Lane is one of my favorite guitar players. Has been for years. He passed away. I think it was 2005. I think that was it. He was an amazing guitar player. He actually had the blend I always talked about, like the speed and the melody and the phrasing and all that stuff. And it was, he to me, he had the right touch of everything. Like myself, one of my big musical obsessions is film scores. Okay, not the soundtracks, but the film scores themselves. So the Hans Zimmers, the Steve Jablonskis, the Anthony Marinelli, Howard Shore, all those guys. I mean, I have all of their entire collections. You know what I mean? So and a lot of those are modern compositions. It's not taken away from like a brilliant guy like John Williams, who wrote, classic themes to classic movies we grew up on. But the modern ones were always like, they became more almost like a, their own type of symphony or own type of orchestra, or orchestral piece, right? Sean Lane was really into film scoring too. He wanted to get into that. And unfortunately, I don't think he ever really did. I think he may have done one or two. I actually got the chance to do one, that Here I Go Again. I actually did the music for, they've used some of it. They didn't use all of it, but it was really cool to actually see myself on IMDb and say, composer, that was awesome. And so what I would ask him is if, what at that time, what would you have what kind of films would you have been into doing? Because the people I mentioned, they're known for like the action movies and like the big dramas and stuff like that. I mean, the Dark Knight and Pirates of the Caribbean, which is not drama, but that's like Hans Zimmer. He also did Interstellar, and a bunch of these other films, right? So I would be curious to see what Sean would have wanted to do, because he was such a huge influence on me, and I would push that into an opportunity. If I got to score a film, I would be curious to see like what would he be into. So it might be something minor, but being that he's definitely like an idol, I definitely would love to know what he would think of these modern compositions, like Hans Zimmer and Howard Shore and those guys.
Okay, so my little buzzer went off in my ear, which means we're out of time. But
okay,
I have two more quick questions for you. On the screen, I've had Facebook Xander Demas Music. Is that the best place to find you guys?
It is, but we also have our website up now too, which is just xdbmusic.com.
Okay. And then the other thing is, do you have any upcoming shows or things other than the album that you would like to mention before we go off the air.
Sure. Yeah. We're going to be at Xander's and Plum. No relation to me. We
That
used to
one's
play
a
there
Z, right?
with a Z. Yeah. We used to play there all the time in a cover band that I had called Into the Arena for a lot of years, and now we're going back with Burning Heart, the Heart tribute band. There's going to be opening up for us, and we're going to be doing like a 2-hour set where we get to do we'll probably play about 5 or 6 of our originals, but we're going to play a night full of fun covers and stuff like that. And then after that, we're playing Yinzer Valley Farms 80s night on the 25th, and our one of our last shows as our tribute band, Love and Venom, which was a Whitesnake and Scorpions tribute band, at Jurgles on the 26th. So we got a busy couple weekends coming up.
Cool. I want to thank you for hanging out with me tonight.
No problem, Bill. Always a pleasure.
And we have 2 more tracks for you. Both of them are pretty new to the show. One of them brand new. We have a band called Submit Thy Will, and the song is Rotten to the Core. And then we're going to end things with the Alpha Complex, Bad for You. So clearly they're both folk bands, right? No. So on that note, we're going to head off into the evening. You will get to hear on the radio show a little bit later, but I'm going to mention it again now. Next week, I will be talking to Cody Lemon, who happens to be the bass player from Black Ridge, who we mentioned earlier when the guitarists were hanging out with us. He came up to me at a show. It's like, hey, when I'm on with the rest of the band, I don't get to talk. Can I do a show by myself? I was like, absolutely. So, so guitarists talk a lot, apparently.
Right?
No offense. You're supposed to be talking. You're my guest. All right. With that said, we're going to head off into the evening. For those of you that are new to the show, in about 17 minutes, if you go to buildascene.com/radio, you get to hear all the music and the interview. And in that 17 minutes, I have to edit this. So we got to go.
All right. Thanks, Bill.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right.